Greetings, everybody. It is finished at the London Stadium. West Ham 2, Manchester United 1. And I'm very, very happy with that result. There are plenty of positives that I've got written on my notes here to dissect. But before we jump into that, what do we think of this sort of retro old West Ham kit? I think this was the third kit from the 2018-2019 season. I can remember players like Angelo Ogbonna, Robert Snodgrass, and Grady Diangana donning this kit. He was an academy player of ours that we let go disappointingly, but decent season that, I think. But anyways, first half. Some of the positives I thought was that Antonio was a lot more involved. In not just the first half, but the whole 17 minutes that he played. He has a bit more of a free-flowing kind of role. I think we've seen him drift multiple times throughout both wings. There have been times where he has received the ball on either wing and tried to beat his man. He had a great duel with Matthias de Ligt today, I thought, and he battled on very, very valiantly. So very happy with his performance. What I noticed as well was that Paqueta, despite only having one half of football, I think he's playing a bit deeper than usual. In the first half, it was either Alvarez or Rodriguez who was actually in front of Paqueta at times when we were defending. So he was getting a lot more of the ball, Paqueta. And despite only playing 45 minutes, I thought that he looked a lot more positive. I thought that he was still the one that was trying the ball, to play the ball that would unlock the Man United defence. He was still trying to play that ball over. I remember there was one time where Bowen was making a good run. There was, on the right wing, of course, but he was cutting directly into goal. Not Kudus. Paqueta played it, and if it were just to went out of play, but if the direction was correct and if he had just put a little less power on it, I think that would have been like the perfect ball. So he was still trying, to be a very creative player and trying to unlock the defence. And I think it was definitely an improvement from last game. Definitely from both Paqueta and Antonio. Antonio, a lot more involved and a lot, cleaner with the ball as well, I thought. That still doesn't mean that he never gave up possession, but it was definitely an improvement. Also, during the 20 to 30 minute mark, West Ham had a good spell of possession as well, a good spell of attacking. I thought that was really, really good. And then in the 45th minute, Fabianski, came in for Areola, who was out of form. He made a brilliant save. Brilliant save. It was a header. I forgot who it was shot by, but when I looked at the replay, the angle or like the trajectory of the header isn't actually that far away from Fabianski. So like the save is definitely doable, but it's the fact that the header is from very, very close by, and many times you could expect that to just fly past you before the goalkeeper even has a chance to get his hands up. But Fabianski, I thought that was a brilliant save by him. Some of the drawbacks though from the first half, I thought that we could have easily been 3 goals down. So, and the defence still seemed a little bit shaky in that first half. And it was the direct passing of Man United that sort of exposed that. It was those diagonals that would catch us out, balls over the top. And Man United were normally playing on the counter-attack against us in the first half, and they looked very, very, very dangerous. I think Dalot missed an open goal from about 15 yards out. It was an absolute shocker of a miss. Could have potentially been offside, I'm not sure, but I was like, yep, this is 1-0. And then he missed an open goal. But there were times where we were let off the hook in the first half, I thought. Then second half comes about. And before I get on to Crescencio Somerville's brilliant performance, I just want to point out some of the changes that I saw, which were very, very beneficial for us. So what I saw in the beginning of the second half, we switched to a back five. The back five was Wan-Bissaka right back, then went Todibo, Alvarez, who dropped, and then Suchek came in. So Alvarez dropped to a centre-back, and then it was Kilman on left centre-back, and then Emerson and Wan-Bissaka remained the fullbacks. Not only did that make our defence a lot more solid and a lot less prone to those, balls, the long balls, it also made us play a lot better. So what I noticed was that our passing in the second half was far superior. It was quick, intricate link-up passing. It was one of those, like, I'm not going to say it's prime Barcelona, but it was very, very, tiki-taka-esque. It was like 5 passes in the space of 2 or 3 seconds. It was like that. And at times we made Man United look like they were chasing shadows at times. So I think that the fact that we made it a 5-back made it so that the fullbacks could actually push up a bit more, so that the wingers always had like a bit of an option to come back to and to link up with them more. Whereas in the first half, there were times where we might have lost possession cheaply, or that we didn't really have an option to give a quick ball out to, which is why we got dispossessed a lot. But second half, great sort of style of play. Another thing I want to talk about was Mavropanos. I thought Mavropanos had a solid first half. Other than that reckless challenge on Garnacho, which got him a yellow card, which you can argue, should that yellow card really be counted because it was offside anyways? That's a discussion for another time, but you can understand why Lopetegui took off Mavropanos and Paqueta. They were both on a yellow. And who was that third player that he took off? It was, Carlos Soler. Not sure about you guys, but I didn't think he had a great impact, Carlos Soler. However, moving on, I thought that those changes were very, very adaptive towards what the situation was, which is great to see that, he wasn't he wasn't stubborn in terms of, okay, we're going to play this until the 80th minute. He was changing tactics, changing players, and keeping Man United guessing. So that was really, really good to see. Second half, Somerville, my goodness. There was, in the 59th minute, he made a brilliant drive out of defence. Very, very Kudus-esque, may I add. Going from our back line all the way to beyond halfway before Matthias de Ligt clearly fouled and brought him down, and he got him booked. That was really, really good. And gee, I tell you what, he's quick, isn't he? He's very quick. There was one time where Dalot, I think, was on the ball. It was coming out from like a header clearance from Man United in their penalty area, and he just sped past Diego Dalot. It was almost like a Mini Cooper trying to keep up with a Ferrari. It was brilliant to see. He looked very, very quick, hard to get the ball off of, and when they did, it usually resulted in Somerville being fouled. So Somerville, and also of course the goal that he scored. I think because of that, Somerville needs to be our starting winger until at the very least until Kudus is back, because clearly had much more of an impact than Carlos Soler in the first half. And another great thing was that when Somerville scored, who was the first person that he ran to? And he ran to the West Ham bench and he hugged Mohamed Kudus. That was brilliant to see. I mean, if you want anything that screams team unity, it probably acts like that, where Kudus is the guy that is literally competing with Somerville for the spot on the team. And Somerville, and that's the first person that Somerville embraces after he scores. So that was brilliant to see. And also when Ings came on for Antonio ran his socks off. Great performance by Antonio, as I'm saying again. But Ings was involved in both goals. He was the one that got the assist to Somerville, even though we know it was a shot. But he was the guy who touched it last, and then he won the penalty that got us the winning goal. Now, about the penalty, when I saw it, my initial reaction was that, okay, nothing will come of this. Very muted reactions from the players, from the crowd. We just saw that, well, that was just a natural coming together in the box. A 50-50 sort of jostle for the ball. Yeah, nothing will come of this. And then next thing you know, 2 minutes down the road, David Coote is on, it's on the phone to VAR saying there's something to look at here, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is just wasting our time. Looked at VAR and I'm thinking, you know what? There's actually a case for a penalty there, because De Ligt for me does step in, and he does clearly make contact with Ings, whereas I think that in real time you're not going to call that, but yeah, it's still very, very, very 50-50 whether it's a pen or not. I've got a cousin who supports Man United, and he texted me saying worst performer on the pitch was the ref. And there was half an hour ago I said something back to him, and he hasn't responded back yet. But make of that what you will. And also, last but not least, I want to touch on Aaron Wan-Bissaka once again. May I say, the 99th minute. We've got 12 minutes stoppage time. If you didn't recall, in the 99th minute, Wan-Bissaka put in two superb tackles. One of them was, I forgot who it was, but it was on the wing, Garnacho, maybe. But the player was bearing down goal. Great last-ditch tackle. And then he got up, and then he was injured, or not injured, but he was feeling something, maybe cramp, maybe he tweaked a muscle or something in his left hamstring, maybe, I'm not sure. But he was limping, right? And then the player's like, okay, I'm going to take him on again. So he takes him on again, gets back, blocks it, I think. And then, trickles back to another player. And then Wan-Bissaka makes another follow-up challenge. And I just thought, that is pure heart and soul stuff from Wan-Bissaka there. And you know what? If you were to call Hammer of the Season right now, I think he's in for a good chance of getting that. I genuinely do. In terms of consistency, I think that he has been, whether we perform good, we perform bad, Wan-Bissaka has constantly been there and has constantly tried to perform very, very well. Oh, sorry, not tried, but he has performed very, very well, no matter how the team plays. So in terms of consistency, I think that Wan-Bissaka is definitely, at the very least, an unsung hero, I think. But, that's a great performance, I think, and Lopetegui got it right. It was good that he was very, very, on his toes with the sub. There was a clear change in the second half, which made his sort of tactics adaptable in order for us to play well, but also keep Man United guessing. And lastly, I reckon that will set us up pretty well for next week, especially that second half. But with West Ham, wouldn't it be the most West Ham thing to do to put in a great performance one week and then the next week it's down the drain? So hopefully that's not the case. But bring on Forest, eh? Come on, you Irons.